He's credited with revitalizing the dreamy Laurel Canyon music scene and its psychedelic rock sound popular in 1960s Los Angeles. 2 years after his critically acclaimed album Rare Birds, talented music producer and singer-songwriter Jonathan Wilson is back with Dixie Blur. The generous 14-track LP is perhaps his most personal album yet, as Wilson draws inspiration from the bluegrass sound of his native Western North Carolina. Now, Jonathan was supposed to join us in the France 24 studio during a European tour to promote his album. But given the coronavirus pandemic, he joined me in my home studio.
Hey, old girl, they were such good times. We sang our songs and we drank our wine. All the riches and gold in the world, I wouldn't take it.
Jonathan, thanks so much for joining us virtually like this.
Yes.
The coronavirus pandemic actually forced you to cancel a tour. You were meant to come play here in Paris, for instance. How did it make you feel to have to cancel that tour?
It was not good. It was a bummer. That was, I had a brand new band that was, that was practiced and, and was hot and bothered and was, was excited to tour. And then suddenly we were like, boom, done.
Are you going to be able to play those gigs at that you had planned later, or?
Yes. I think there's some dates held for January.
Let's talk about your album. Enough coronavirus for now. So this is Dixie Blur. You released it on March 6th, and the sound on your new album is pretty different from what we've become accustomed to, this kind of Laurel Canyon psychedelic soft rock sound that has been associated with you. What motivated you to change?
I was coming on the back of an album that was sort of like a production tour de force and stuff that I spent thousands of hours to make. So I was searching for something that was different and something that was powerful. So I went inside of the soul cavity and I figured out that the thing to do was to kind of like to use the power of a band. I put together sort of like the best of the best of the Nashville session sort of like scene.
Because you recorded in Nashville, Tennessee. This is the country music capital of the United States, far from your home studio in California. You actually recorded directly on 24 tracks. Is that correct?
Yeah, on analog. Yes, that is true.
And you recorded with this top-notch session band, including some incredible musicians. I love the fiddle player Mark O'Connor. You cut a lot of these songs live, right? And how challenging was that?
It was hard, just because you kind of have to be at peace with this sort of like the stuff that you do in the moment. So you have to be sort of like at the top of your game, and it brings sort of like a spontaneous kind of like the feeling of a document and stuff, of just sort of a cohesive thing.
I came to this city full of smiles, opportunity every miracle mile. I still think of Carolina sometimes. I miss my family, I miss that feeling, I miss home. I miss home.
And what's interesting is, like, for instance, the music video to the song 69 Corvette features in-studio footage from the recording, but also home videos from your childhood in Western North Carolina. Would you say that nostalgia is kind of a driving theme on the album?
Yeah, but the cool thing about that is that was just sort of organically transpired. So that was not something that was planned, like to be like, hey, let's play the sentimentality card now. Like it was just, that wasn't something that I did, but it just sort of unfolded. Yeah.
And what else do you think inspired the record's narrative? Any other theme?
Yeah. Just sort of like me exposing my sort of my emotions and stuff sort of for the first time.
Yeah, laying your heart bare on the album.
Yeah.
And I noticed that dogs are often featured in your music videos. There's there's a very cute dog in 69 Corvette, and then for the upbeat song In Heaven Making Love, it kind of is a love story between two dogs. Was that a coincidence, or is that deliberate?
No, it was on purpose. It was kind of like the treatments I've seen in like the videos with people and stuff. I was just kind of like, I'm kind of done with that. So yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's a very cute music video.
I've been high, I've been low, I've been everything between. I've been trying to have a little fun. I've been delivering letters full of rock and roll freedom in this carnival on the run. But it's a gypsy summer and the caravan, she is pulling away late at night. And the side is Cindy's in a peculiar ways, singing this song tonight.
I want to come back to the coronavirus pandemic just for a second, because do you think that this kind of forced confinement could be an opportunity for musical creativity? You said that you're setting up a new studio, but has it inspired you musically?
I've played so far on a coronavirus song, and something that that was from a friend, and I've been involved with a coronavirus live concert and stuff. I mean, I don't particularly find it quote unquote inspiring. I don't feel like it's the time for me to go out and seize the internet and to be like, check me out, my in-home concert. You know what I mean? Personally, but I think it's a time for us just sort of like to chill out, sort of for the business to take a break. Let's just, let's let this thing pass and stuff. So.
And do you think it could, on a more broad, not just musically, but artistically in general, do you think there could be kind of a renaissance after this pandemic?
Oh my, I certainly hope so. Yeah.
And one last question: what's the first thing that you're gonna do when all this is over?
Oh, I'm gonna take my clothes off and go to the beach.
That sounds amazing. Well, Jonathan, thank you so much for joining us virtually.
Thank you.
And I hope we'll be able to have you in person, in real life, in the France 24 studio next time you're in Paris.
Same here. Okay, cool.
Daddy's got tennis elbows from practicing his violin. I see him slowing down, not an easy thing to swallow when it's your old man. Well, it floats right by to one day looking at Polaroids and grieving. So remember to tell him you love him every time. One more time. One more time.
France 24. Every art form.
Liberté, égalité, actualité.